Okay, so we're going to talk about yogurt today because it is a snack which can offer a lot of nutritional value, a lot of bang for your buck in terms of nutrition. It can be something that's fairly easy to take with you because it comes in small containers. And you can also stock your kitchen pretty easily with enough to last you for some time. So I'll usually buy it for at least a couple weeks at a time, and it lasts just fine. So it's a snack you can have around without having to constantly run to the grocery store. And we had talked about, when you're making changes that are where you're trying to support your mental health and your physical health right now, that this isn't a time to be trying to overhaul who you are. We're just trying to perhaps take some things that you're already doing and substitute in slightly healthier versions of that. And if you are a yogurt eater, this is one place that would be an easy place to do that. Now, a reminder, we're not going for all or nothing. We're not putting foods into good versus bad categories. We're just going to give some frameworks to maybe think about what you're looking for when you go to buy yogurt. There's really three things that I think about when I'm deciding what yogurt to buy. The first one is looking at the list of ingredients and looking for additives. And I have some examples that I'll show you. And in some yogurts, you're going to get a list of that's a mile long with all kinds of stuff in them. Then you're going to find yogurts that have a rather short list of stuff, and you're going to understand the names. That is really one of the first things that you could do to improve whatever you're putting in your mouth, is just get rid of all the additives. Those can be more expensive, and you can find yogurts on sale. Even the brands that are a little bit nicer, and typically the ones that are nicer and more expensive have less stuff in them because they don't have fillers in them. They have real ingredients. Those tend to be more expensive, but you can find them on sale. In fact, I never buy them unless they're not on sale, and that's why I have kind of a number of brands that I like, because I'm only going to buy them on sale because they're expensive. You can also, if you're a Walmart shopper, they've really started carrying a variety of brands that tend to, be fairly healthy. So that can be an option as well. So additives is one thing that's the first thing that I really look for. And then the second thing I'm looking for is how much protein they have. And as we'll see here in a second, they range anywhere from, maybe 5 grams of protein up, closer to 20. And so I'm trying to go for something that's a little bit closer to the 20 end. Usually it's 15 to 20 grams of protein that you can find in a quality yogurt. And that tends to be where, I'm headed with that. The more protein, the better, assuming there's not a lot of additives in it. And then the last thing that I am looking at is how much sugar is actually in it. And some yogurts are gonna have, as low as like 5 or 6 grams of sugar, and some are gonna have, 25 grams of sugar. And so there's a really big difference in how much sugar you're putting in your system with those. And we'll talk about the ways to sort of make yogurt with less sugar a bit more palatable if that's an issue, because you get into plain yogurt and it's not always the most delicious thing, but there are ways around that. So we're looking for really as few ingredients as you can get by with. So no additives, how much protein, and how much sugar are really the things that I'm going for when I'm looking at the ingredients. So I'm gonna join this up with a video number 2, and we'll go through some examples. So what we have here is a variety of yogurts that we tend to buy in my house. And I'm gonna go just in line here and just kind of show you quickly. So these 4 yogurts, this guy we're going to come to in a minute. This isn't a yogurt we normally buy, but we wanted to use for an example. So we'll come back to him in a minute. But these guys are all yogurts that tend to not have a huge number of additives. So their ingredient list is fairly short. Noosa isn't actually the best in that regard. Their yogurt is delicious, and we will see why here. So if we look at Noosa, which, they are a non-GMO, if that matters to you. They're made with whole milk. They have a little bit of additive, but not anything crazy over the top. But you'll see here that in this little guy, there's 16 sugars and 5 grams of protein. So not a whole lot of bang for your buck in terms of protein for sugar there. The Icelandic yogurt is a lot like Greek yogurt in terms, it's very thick. It's really quite tasty. And this guy here, again, not a lot in terms of additives. Their ingredient list is pretty small. I don't know if you can see that there, but they've got a fairly short ingredient list there. They do add a little bit of sugar. And this guy does have some bean gum, which I'm not a huge fan of, but this guy has 15 grams of protein and 10 sugars. So this is a little better. Sig's is also a yogurt that's pretty thick. It's a lot like Greek yogurt. It's an Icelandic yogurt as well. Its list of ingredients is even better. We're getting down. You'll see here, skim milk, the agave nectar, which is really just sugar, vanilla, fruit pectin, and live active cultures. So that's a pretty darn good ingredient list. And this guy has 18 grams of protein and 11 sugars. So we've come up a little bit in protein there. We're about the same for sugar. And this brand, these two brands tend to be my favorite. They're a little more palatable than this last guy we're gonna do. And this guy, now he's super healthy, and I sometimes struggle a bit with this one. I'm gonna, be honest, but you'll see, I mean, that ingredient list is very minimal. We got skim milk and cultures, cream, so this is super healthy. This guy has 5 grams of sugar and 17 grams of protein. So it's good. Also super thick. If you're looking for yogurt to substitute in recipes, this guy is great. It's a lot like sour cream. It's really thick. It's really good. But this is a plain flavor. There's no flavor in that, which is why there's no sugar. Now I'm going to come over here real quick, and this is a yogurt that is pretty standard. You see it in a lot of grocery stores. It's just a Yoplait. It would be real easy to grab off the shelf. And if we look here at this ingredient list, we can see there's a whole lot of stuff that's just like, modified cornstarch, gelatin, natural flavor, pectin, carmine. I don't even know what that is. So there's just a list of stuff there we're not sure we totally need. And we come down here and there's 18 sugars and 6 grams of protein. So that's kind of a lot of sugar for the amount of protein that's in it. And again, why does that matter? Well, for 2 reasons that I can see. One is that protein will keep you fuller for longer, so you're not going to get as hungry. And for the second reason, you're not going to have a sugar spike as bad with some of these with the lower sugars. And sugar spikes are doing 2 things. I mean, one, you go up from a sugar spike and then you kind of crash from that, which doesn't feel good. But it's also, having a lot of sugar floating around in your system tends to, increase inflammation in your system. It tends to make you hungrier faster. It's just something, it's a good thing to, if you don't have to have it in there, then why have it in there? Take it on out. So let's talk quickly. All of these are pretty good. We tend to mix them with things in my household. So if you are somebody that likes it a little bit more sweet, because some of these aren't super sweet, what I have found is taking some fruit, either fresh fruit, so like fresh blueberries or frozen blueberries, either one, and I actually heat those in the microwave until they're bubbling a little bit. And that brings out a sweet flavor. It brings out the natural sugar in the fruit. And then you can mix it in with the yogurt, and it's a little warm, and it kind of adds, mixes in with that, the yogurt real easily. It can create a really nice flavor, and you can experiment with all different kinds, so you can mix up what kind of fruit you're putting in there. I'll put nuts in it sometimes, millions of different kinds of granolas that are out there. Protein powder is easily mixed into yogurt. I'll show you the kind that I use that just has a real mild flavor. It actually tends to make the yogurt taste even better. Took me a while to find that. For somebody who is interested in the sorts of things like flax or chia or hemp seeds, certainly that can go easily in with yogurt. It gives you some fiber. It gives you a little bit more protein. It makes you fuller, puts some fat in there. In terms of a protein additive, if you wanted something like that in, you could, this one has a fairly mild flavor. It mixes in well with yogurt. We've got some coconut here. This was just normal old coconut that I bought from the store, non-GMO. I just put a little avocado oil and actually some butter on there, and then toasted it for just a couple minutes in the oven at about 325. It toasts really fast, so don't set it on fire like I did last night. We got nuts. We got all kinds of crap. So you can mix all sorts of things in there to keep it interesting. And, you know, if you've got a yogurt, you've got that to go. You can certainly make nut and granola mixes and protein powder mixes that you can stash around so that they're easy to go with that. And that way you've got something that's fast and easy you can throw in. And, you know, I keep a couple little ice packs in the refrigerator here. So I can just grab one of those and throw it in to keep the yogurt cold if that's what is what's needed. So anyway, just a little lesson, no judgment, not good or bad, just some ideas to think about if you are in the store looking to make a change. Let me know if you got questions. Bye.